believe that cannot obtain knowledge being JTB, outside of things such as our existence, maybe our senses, maybe a God existing, and maybe an external world.
Can you give me an example of that so I can
An
understand better?
An example of what?
Like your position, like an example as to how we cannot gain knowledge.
Yeah, like for example, I don't know how we can verify or how we can obtain knowledge on whether or not the sky is blue. However, we do have knowledge on our senses existing, because even if it were to be a hallucination, that wouldn't tell sensory. It would just be that the sensory isn't accurate. Or the sensory
okay, but the sky is blue analogy, I don't know if it works, since you clarified that it's not whether or not our senses are valid or what we perceive is actually valid or not.
You told me to give an example of my position. The example I'm giving is it's a question. Hold on. The example I'm giving is put into question whether or not the sky is actually blue, and how do we know that the sky is blue? That was just an analogy towards that, not the senses. The senses.
Oh yeah, so yeah, sure. I'm saying, like, if you say like the sky is blue, then it gives me like an idea that what you're saying is like what we perceive could be something that's false. So I'm asking you, like, are you arguing, for example, something like
I'm saying I haven't seen justification. No, I'm saying I haven't seen justification on how we can know something, as in have JTB on something outside of the three things that I've named.
Okay, so do you think experience is experience then?
Experience. I don't know how we can warrant experience existing outside of our existence, maybe.
So presumably it's like you think it's a presupposition to say experience is experience?
I think it's an intuition that we can go off of, but I don't believe that intuition is adequate justification for experience actually existing.
So there's a possibility that experience that we're experiencing is in fact not experience?
I don't know if we can know that we're experiencing something. Obviously, when we go throughout our everyday life, it can be intuitively believed that we're experiencing something, but I don't see an argument for why we're actually experiencing something.
Okay, so I think if you're going to say it's a possibility, I'm just going to ask you a question, and that's which framework are you going to use to suffice it being a possibility?
What did I say was a possibility?
You're saying like it's a possibility that it could in fact not be experienced, right? Is that what you're using as your basis?
Yes.
Yeah, what
it doesn't really matter. I can just say
Yes.
it's logically possible for it not to be the case, but even under that modal scope, it doesn't really matter, because I'm putting into question what argument is there for this thing being the case, as an experience is either likely to be true.
I asked you what do you use to suffice the possibility, because it's not a logical possibility.
What did you say? What do I use to suffice what?
I asked you what do you use to suffice the possibility, because it's not a possibility to begin with, like a logical possibility.
Okay, so why don't you believe it's a logical possibility?
Because you're saying if it's not experienced, then we're experiencing not experiencing experience. So it'll be truth apt to say it's experience and it's not experience. Okay, I'm saying that if you say that there's a possibility that it's not experienced.
Wait. Who is judge? I just realized that. My fault.
Like, do you want to judge here?
Okay. Do you agree with Saruki?
Yeah, sure, it's fine.
Or okay, Saruki. Okay. So give your argument, but slow down and give it concisely.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm saying, right, if you say it's a logical possibility that, for example, the experience they were experiencing is not experienced, that it will be truth apt to say that the experience.
Okay, no. The problem is what's put into
simultaneously is not experienced.
Okay, no. What's put into question?
What do you? What I'm asking. I'm asking.
Hold on. What's put into question is whether or not we're actually experiencing something. You saying that it would be a logical contradiction. Hold on. You saying it's
I know what you're saying.
Hold on. You arguing that it's going to be a logical contradiction, that we're experiencing something that's not actually experienced, or going to put into question what's experienced, if we're actually experiencing, etc. That's not an argument against what I'm saying, because that presupposes there being experience in the first place.
No, I mean, I'm saying regardless of whether or not this experience in the first place, we're experiencing not experiencing experience.
How do we know that?
Because you're talking to me. How are you talking to me if there's no experience? Even if the experience is not experienced.
That's toxic. That's my entire position. My position covers that. I'm putting into question whether or not we can have knowledge on if.
Yeah, what are you using as basis to put into question? Like, it's not a logical possibility.
The intuition, yes. Just because there's intuition based upon things that I have seen or something along those lines doesn't mean that this thing is actual.
Yeah, no, that's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. Not what I asked you.
Intuition isn't a justifier. That's not how that works. So me saying that
I'm not using intuition.
I'm not saying you are using intuition. I'm saying that intuitively.
Yeah, that's not what I asked you.
Hold on. I'm saying that intuitively, I believe that I'm talking to you. However, I don't know if in actuality that this is the case. So what do we mean by experience here? What does that mean?
Okay, I'm asking you, what are you using as basis right? For putting into question.
Intuitively, I believe I'm putting it into question. That's what I'm saying. If you're talking about what is my reasonable cause for skepticism, all I'm
That's not
saying
what
is
I. Yeah, okay,
okay.
sure,
Okay,
fine.
for the recording, my reasonable cause for skepticism would be the lack of knowledge for justification of his position.
Wait, hold on. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay. Also, Tinsa here, the position I'm taking is one, I haven't seen evidence for us being able to know things outside of one, our existence, two, maybe our senses, three, maybe an external world, and four, maybe a God. He's taking the contrary. He's going to have to give a means of justifying why we can have knowledge on something outside of the four examples I gave. What's the topic? Nigga, I just said it's basically soft epistemological skepticism, excluding the things that I named. All I'm doing is skepticizing JTB, how we can obtain JTB. I don't really care about the possibilities I said of maybe sensory experience existing. I don't know if I agree with that. So the only thing that I'm actually going to take is our existence. I agree our existence is the case.
No, I'm not saying experience exists, but I'll clarify.
I'm not saying that. I was clarifying to Tinsa what my position was. Yeah, toxic. So I believe the most relevant point is what is experience to us, if you're there. You're so retarded, hardcore. I mean, Kezi, but Saruki, I told you I disagree with that. I never said I was starting to doubt my own existence. I was looking into like epistemological positions, and I think I believe in transcendental idealism, but I don't know though. Yeah, I don't hear you, Toxic. We don't hear you. I just don't believe in like empiricism and rationalism and all the other positions. Like they kind of suck. What do you mean bound? The beeping brother? Oh no, that's my washing machine. Let me judge. Yes, my washing machine. My fault for having a washing machine. My fault, gang. Yo, who the fuck who changed their name to Infinity? What is this crazy? Yo, solos. Anyways, Toxic, if you're speaking, we don't hear you. Reset your Discord. Okay, Bound. My washing machine is not beeping. That's not what I said, Serena. I said whether or not we can verify our own existence, not if we do exist, dumbass. It's not the same thing. Yes, let me judge. So retarded motherfuckers who don't even understand what y'all saying, don't use Democrats to give a bad
Yo, can you hear
verdict.
me? Finally.
Yeah,
I finally.
Yeah, so what
So
does
I'll
experience
okay, so yeah. What you were saying?
what does experience mean to us, Toxic?
I think it's just something that allows us to observe reality itself. I don't want to
Oh,
make
okay.
it too
That's a really
complicated, I
bad
guess.
definition on your end. So you believe experience to us means it's something or is a means of allowing us to observe reality, right?
Yeah, okay, let me just fix the definition. I'm just saying like it's something that which we actually observe within reality and patterns of reality
Yeah, that's
themselves.
even worse for you. So
Because
you're saying experience is a means of actually observing, or it's the actual observations we are
no,
able to
that's not what I
produce from
said.
reality. What did you say, Toxic?
Yeah, the observations and the in a way in which you like observe the patterns of reality.
Okay, reality, meaning the things that we observe has to be actualized, right?
Not really. You can experience something, and experience
Well,
that
if
which you're
you're
experiencing
before we
can
get
be
into that,
false.
okay, before we get into that, if you're observing
Sure.
something, Yeah, if you're saying we have to observe reality, then our false quote unquote experience wouldn't be reality. To be reality is to have correspondence with truth, or at least be
And
true.
okay, I'm not saying that it's reality to begin with. Like, I don't really care about that. Like, you can
You
experience
just said
experience, and
reality.
experience that you experience can be
Yeah,
false.
we can get into that other stuff later, but you just said it was reality. So I want a clear definition. Can you type it out or something? Because maybe I'm not understanding.
Okay, fine. We can just go by any definition on Google, bro. I think that's
I mean,
better.
okay, sure. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, experience is particular contact with and observations of facts or events. So you realize an hallucination wouldn't be facts, right? So even if I were to grant the fact that we are
Hold
agreeing
on.
with but hallucination, for example, that wouldn't be adequate for us to actually go
Can you
through
experience a dream? Can you experience a dream?
I don't know.
Okay, have you ever dreamed before?
Like I said, I don't know. Intuitively, sure, but that doesn't mean that it has
I'm,
correspondence
I'm
with
not.
reality.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not asking you if you have ever dreamed before, mind independently. I'm talking about just your mind. Have you ever experienced
Yeah,
like
I know what you're
dreaming?
saying. I know the claim, but I'm saying intuitively sure. However, my position is whether or not we can determine we know something outside of our existence.
Okay, so intuitively, yeah, so that's fine. Since you're talking about experience and intuition, intuitively speaking, you can experience something without that thing corresponding to
Why?
reality. If
Okay,
that's the
that
point.
but that goes in back. Okay, chill. That goes back into something that I was saying initially. I don't believe intuition is an actual means of justifying anything. It's just a basis that I have for saying that throughout my entire life, I see, like, for example, a tree, a sky. However, I don't believe with
Okay,
empirical
so
verification.
intuitively, do you experience something? Like when
Intuitively,
you walk
well,
outside,
no, no,
yeah,
no.
do you go out?
Intuitively, hold on. Yeah, let me answer that. Intuitively, I would like to
Sure.
believe that we experience something because that's what I see. However, I disagree with empiricism. But obviously, throughout my
Yeah,
entire
sure. Yeah.
my everyday life, I'm going to agree with it. Like, obviously, I'm going to accept the fact that the sky is blue or something, but not with when it comes to debating it.
Okay, so that does presuppose that we can experience, and experience through experiencing is just not
Why does that
experience.
presuppose? Okay, so once again, you can type that out and slow down. But why does that presuppose we're able to experience something?
Okay, you just said you're experiencing something, you're just experiencing it
No,
intuitively.
I said intuitively, as in perspective of
Yeah, that's what
myself
I
or
said too.
intuition. I just said intuition isn't a means
How
of
do you,
justifying.
okay,
So
if you say
hold on, hold on,
yourself,
hold on, hold on,
how do you
hold on,
think
hold
the
on, hold on.
self exists?
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
how do
bro,
you think
chill.
the self exists?
Okay, chill. So when it comes to the intuition thing, once again, toxic, bro. That does not have correspondence. It doesn't have to have correspondence. I'm saying from what I think, which we don't know whether or not I'm actually thinking this thing. However, from this quote unquote experience that we're having, quote unquote, toxic, that's not a concession. I don't know.
I didn't
Also,
say
with
it's a
the
concession.
I know I wasn't saying I was saying quote unquote for the judge, but yeah, for the existence thing,
Alright,
I don't know how we can verify
okay.
our existence. However, I'm not going to question my existence, which is why it's exclusive of my position. I will
Yeah,
proudly apply to incognito.
within your argument, you said I think, so therefore I'm assuming that you think the mind exists.
Yes, that's what I mean by existence, toxic.
Oh,
My
so you think the
existence.
mind exists?
It can exist,
The
sure.
mind exists. It can exist. Okay, do
Yes,
you think or not?
I believe the
Do you
mind
think it's a
exists.
presupposition?
I
Okay, sure,
just
that's
told you I
fine.
believe
So, okay, fine. So if the mind exists, then that entails the fact is a fact, and the fact is the mind exists.
okay.
Okay, so something that's true can be
Wait.
known mind independently.
Yeah, before we get to that. So, oh my God, you were not listening to my position. So you're saying that me saying that the mind exists would have to be a fact that the mind exists, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so how is that a defeater to my position if I'm excluding things such as my existence? And
You
a
said
fact of
senses,
my
right?
existence would be an overall
Where do senses stem from, bro? Where do you think senses stem from?
it depends,
How do you
but
do
probably
you think you can perceive something without your mind?
no, but that doesn't mean that in all scenarios where a mind is there, you would have sensory experience, quote unquote. Just
What did you
because I
say?
believe the
Repeat what
mind
you said.
exists doesn't mean just
What?
because I
Wait,
believe
repeat
the
what you
mind,
said.
yeah, I will. Just because I believe the mind exists doesn't mean that I believe sensory experience exists. Yes, sensory experience necessarily needs a mind. However, a mind doesn't necessarily need sensory experience. There's no argument for that. You can never give that.
Okay, hold on. I just need to check your position again because I feel as though you said something. You mentioned another thing next to the experience, right?
What'd you say?
You said the first one was for the senses. What was the second one?
Yeah, I said just because the sensory experience necessarily needs a mind doesn't mean that the mind necessarily needs sensory experience, Toxic. It's just not how that
I'm
works. There's
not
no
talking
argument
about that.
for that.
Hold on. Oh right, it was our own existence. That's what you said. Right next to the
Yes,
census one.
not something like you. I agree I exist. I don't know if
Okay,
you exist.
okay, sure. Wait, what is As you say,
What is a mind
you
that
said
has
you
no
agree.
experience? What, Cassie? Are you okay? Anyways, what you say, Toxic?
No, you said something like, I think I exist, but I'm not sure if you exist.
Yeah. When I say we can verify, or what I'm saying, when we have knowledge on our own existence, I said our own existence before. I think I exist. I don't know if you exist. I don't know if Tinsa exists. I don't know anything external to my existence. And by my existence, I'm referring to my mind. I
Okay,
don't
do you
really care
think
about
your
that.
okay, do you think your existence when you say I exist isn't external to yourself?
What do you mean external?
Something that's external to yourself?
What do
I
you mean
mean, you said
external?
you're not sure as to what you said you're not sure as to whether or not something exists external to you.
External to my mind, Toxic. I believe the reference point from my intuition would be my consciousness, which would be my mind.
Okay, do you think yeah, if your mind exists, therefore something outside of your mind exists?
Why? If it's not an overarching factor of my mind. Obviously, if my mind exists, I wouldn't tell that there's a fact about my mind existing, which would be external to the mind existing, but that would be something
Yeah, that's the
overarching.
point.
I know. I'm saying that would be something
Sure.
overarching, the point that I agree with. So that would be exclusive of my position. The fact about my mind
No,
existing.
one of the criteria within your position was that you're not sure as to whether or not we exist.
What did you say?
And that was one of
Wait,
the things that you said within your position is that you're not sure as to whether or not we exist, our own
no, that is
existence.
not what I said. Actually, I said exclusive to my
That's literally
position.
what.
I
Okay,
believe.
yeah,
Hold
I'll
on,
paste for you.
Toxic. I'll let you finish, bro. Chill. I actually said exclusive to my position. I believe that I exist. However, I don't believe you can verify us being able to achieve other knowledge outside of the examples I gave, which one of them
Are
was
you
my
sure that's what
existence.
you said? Are you sure
Bro,
that's what you said even within the like fucking stage when we just got here, bro?
Sarugi, come up here. I'm not sure of anything other outside my existence, but Sarugi, get up here real quick.
I'm talking about
What do you
intuitively.
want,
Like,
bro?
god damn.
Sarugi, you
Are
heard
you
me
not
say.
sure of your topic?
Hold on. You heard me literally exclude my existence within my position, right? Like exclude it.
Like primarily
You
when we started the
exclude
recording?
your existence? Yeah, you said your existence, and then you said you said something about
No, I'm not
God. You
talking about
said
now. I'm talking about when we started.
Yeah, when we
when
start,
you
I
started.
literally said my position is epistemological skepticism outside of my existence and a few other examples that were possibly the case. I did not grant them
Yeah, I'm
actually.
saying okay. I'm saying even if you posit yourself to exist, there's something that exists, and that's yourself outside of yourself.
What do you mean myself outside of myself? You don't believe that's illogical?
Okay, if
How
the,
can it be a
no,
self? Hold on.
logical.
How can there be a self outside of yourself? What do you mean by that? Maybe I'm confused.
Okay,
What you
if your mind, yeah, sure. If your mind exists, your mind would only have to exist if you accept that your mind exists outside of your mind. Like just
how
like how
can
you
I?
can
Yeah,
perceive
wait.
bound. Yeah,
Why?
I'm
What?
clarifying. Just like how you can perceive bound and his mind exists, you can observe the fact that bound exists.
Okay, no. Okay, so there's multiple problems with that. So one, that presupposes that we're actually able to observe whether or not bound exists. How do we know
No,
that? Second, hold on.
analogy. That's an
Second,
analogy. That's an analogy. That's an analogy.
I know. I'm attacking the analogy because that could be used as an analogical argument. But to address the other thing, Toxic, what do you mean by the mind must exist outside of the mind or something along those lines? Just clarify
Okay,
that.
so okay, I'm saying, right, you cannot say you exist or your mind exists without presupposing that your mind exists outside of your mind.
How?
Or
Why?
your
Bro,
mind
I
exists,
know the
but it's
claim.
something that exists mind independently.
I know the claim. Are you saying that the mind can exist independently? I'm not presupposing. I'm not presupposing that or anything along this line. I'm not disagreeing with that. Sure, the mind can exist independently. I'm not denying the fact that the mind exists. I'm saying my mind exists. However, why is that an argument against my position if I'm literally accepting the fact and positing that I exist as a mind?
Bro, it's either I'm confused because directly I just copy pasted what you said again and you said whether or not you're sure something can exist outside of yourself. So
Same
I'm
difference.
saying
No,
whether or not you
out of
posit
my
yourself. Yeah,
outside
I'm
of
saying whether or
myself.
not you
Wait,
posit
toxic.
yourself to
You're
exist,
confused. You're confused.
that entails the fact that you exist outside of
Toxic.
yourself.
Chill. Okay, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. So what I was saying outside of myself, I'm saying outside of my existence, whether or not we can verify something or us having knowledge of something outside of my existence, as in I have knowledge of my existence. That's what
Oh,
that
so do
means. And
you grant that you exist? So do you grant that you exist?
I've said this multiple times, Toxic.
Okay, sure, that's fine. We can like leave that out. I guess I'll not disagree with that. So we can just go back to the initial, like whether or not the topic is to whether or not like senses exist.
Yes, so no, not senses. It's whether or not we can have knowledge of
Yeah,
something
we can
existing.
verifiably. Yeah, we can verifiably like. Sure.
I hope you know.
So
Like, okay, hold on. Just so there's no conflation throughout the entire debate. I hope you know something
yeah,
actually existing and us having knowledge on something actually existing are two different things. You understand that, right?
yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. Also, what do we
Since
define
you,
as
since
reality?
you, Okay, reality. Reality is reality.
Hold on.
Alright.
Yeah, my bad. What were you saying?
I said reality is reality.
And I'm asking, what is the descriptor of that? Obviously,
That's
reality
what?
equals obviously reality equals reality, but I'm asking, what is the definition of reality itself, not the title?
It's reality.
Okay, how is that a definition?
What? It is a definition. That's reality.
I asked, how is
Do
that a
you-
definition?
if somebody asked you what is black, what are you gonna respond to? How are you gonna respond to that
I'm
with
gonna
that?
tell them I'm gonna tell them the properties of black. Obviously, black equal
Yeah,
black.
what are the
However,
properties of black?
I'm asking
What are the
what the
properties of
properties.
black? What are the
Yes.
properties of black?
You can
What are the
describe
properties of
black.
black?
You can describe black. You can
Yeah,
say it's a
describe
dark
black for
shade,
me.
or yeah, you can say it's a dark shade or something along those lines. But
What's dark?
that's irrelevant.
What's
That's
a dark
irrelevant.
shader?
Oh yeah, we can just
Okay,
keep on
so
going.
I
Like
just gave you
we can go.
example.
It can keep on going to almost add different item. That's not an argument against what I said. So we can go to Oxford.
Okay, so I'm showing you how language has ambiguity. Like what?
What
Like
do
it's
you mean?
ambiguous to a certain extent. I'm saying it's
Uh,
ambiguous to a certain extent.
that
So therefore,
isn't
reality is reality.
that doesn't mean anything. I'm not denying reality being a reality. However, I'm talking about the overarching
That
descriptor.
is my definition. Like,
I
okay,
know.
what would you
I
think
know. I
that?
know. I know. I
Okay,
know.
can you give me an
I know.
example
Hold
of
on.
an
I know you're
overarching
saying. I know.
descriptor for reality
Chill.
here?
Chill. 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 I know you're saying that, which is why I'm trying to appeal to Oxford. I know your definition. However, definitionally, I want to go to Oxford. Simple as that, because I don't believe reality is reality.
Okay,
Definition.
sure, that's fine.
Okay.
You don't believe it is? You don't believe reality is reality?
That's not what I said. I said reality can be reality. However, that's you saying the title is identical with itself, not you giving an actual description of what that title entails.
That is the definition. What? I just told you it's the
I know
definition. I
your
told you
claim. I
how.
understand that's your definition, but I'm saying I'm going to appeal to Oxford.
Okay, sure, that's fine. Just get it.
Okay. Oxford says, bro, what the fuck? The world of state of things as they actually exist. So basically actualization. Okay, sure. So a truth would have to be actualized, correct? Or it would have to have correspondence with reality.
A truth? No, unless you talk about mind-independent truths.
Yes, I'm talking about my independent truths, Tausig.
Sure, I guess.
Okay, so now that we have all this established, what is your justifier for my position being incorrect? We're just gonna need I just want to establish it.
You talking about the first one where we talk about census again?
No,
Whether or not we
the
can verify it.
epi-skeptic.
Yeah.
Like, can you verify whether or not we have knowledge of something outside of my existence?
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's see. So experience again. I'm just gonna go back to the point when we're gonna argue it again. Experience is experience, and even if experience is not experience, that entails that experience that which you're experiencing would not be experience.
Okay. So once again, first, how do we know that? Second, how do you experience not experience? We already established.
I know that intuitively. I know that intuitively. Sure.
You know what intuitively? I asked why that's a justifier. I literally said intuition isn't a justifier initially. So just because you know something, quote unquote, intuitively, which is what's been the question, whether or not you know that, just because there's an intuition doesn't mean that that's knowledge. A belief and knowledge are two different things. You can have dualistic
Okay,
attitude.
I just told you like whether or not we actually experience that which you're experience. Like experience still exists, but it's whether or not the experience that which you're
No, I
experiencing
understand the
experience.
claim of it existing. However, you have yet to give an
Yeah,
item to
but I'm
justify
saying
your
even if you
question.
say I'm saying even no, it's fine. Even if it's question begging, certain question begs are actually valid. So I'm saying
Why
even
is
if
your
you
question
negate experience, that
why
is
is
a
it valid?
presupposition that experience. Okay,
Why
what?
is it?
What do you say? What do you say?
You just
What do
said
you say?
you just said certain question begs are valid. Why is it valid if it's not informative or an actual justifier for the claim you're making?
What? Do you think tautology is a justifier for the claim that I'm making? For
What'd you
example,
say?
if I make a tautology,
Wait,
you think if I make a tautology, that's a justifier?
repeat yourself. What was this thing you asked me?
I'm saying, do you think like if I make a tautology, that's a justifier?
No,
Or
I
do you
just
think
said
that thing is
that's
just
actually the opposite of what I said. I said tautology would be a statement that's true but uninformative. I'm saying that within the
yeah,
context of what you're saying, hold on.
yeah,
I'm saying you're just making a claim and relying back on what's put in the question to justify what's put in the question.
no, I'm
Therefore,
saying
it
even
wouldn't
if
be
you negate,
informative.
I'm saying even if you negate experience being experienced, that's a presupposition that experience that which you're experiencing is still experience.
I know the claim, but quote unquote, I know the claim, but how do you know that that's true, Tausig? Like you're just going circular. I'm asking how you.
Okay, Okay, like I'm literally negating your entire position, and I'm
How do you
saying
know that you're
even if you,
negating it, bro? You're going circular.
I don't care if I'm going circular. I'm saying even if you're putting it into question,
I'm
that's
saying
literally
even okay,
presupposing.
no. Oh my god. Even if
Oh my
okay,
god,
you know
bro.
what I'm saying? Even if presupposes you have knowledge on what I'm doing, you presuppose you have knowledge on it, even if you're just question making. None of this is actually address epistemological skepticism, Toxic. This is why you
Okay,
have
if
to
I can question back, that entails my mind exists.
you said what?
If I can question back, that entails my mind
That
exists.
doesn't tell anything because there's, for example, can be a hallucination or I
Do
can be
you okay? Do you think I can presuppose something without mental faculties?
I believe that are you done? Okay, my fault. I believe that you can have hallucinations, for example, of someone you believe that you're talking to, like you're schizophrenic, you can believe you're talking to
I'm not
someone
even
and that
talking
they're
about
hold on,
that.
chill.
That does not
I'm
address
saying
what I said,
hold
bro.
on, chill. I'm saying I can be
That is not.
schizophrenic, for example.
I'm
I'm
just
saying I
saying.
can be schizophrenic, for example, and I can think I'm talking to someone, but in actualization, I'm not talking to that person. So yes, that quote unquote hallucinated person can be presupposed as something.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, you disagreeing with that isn't an argument.
I'm saying a presupposition would entail that my mind exists. So do you agree or not?
Why? I don't agree with that. I just gave an example of where that wouldn't be the case.
Do you think I just asked you a question? Do you think I can presuppose something without mental faculties? I don't care about hallucinations.
Yeah, in the context of hallucinations, there can be an existent presupposition with quote unquote presupposition without an existence of
Hallucinations
mind.
don't pertain to what I said.
Yeah, it does pertain to what I said, though. I'm answering your question with a counterexample, which
Okay,
defeats your
sure.
entire point.
No, it doesn't.
I don't
Sure,
know.
go ahead.
I know a disagreement isn't an argument, but I don't see how you presupposing something quote unquote when you're putting into question or whether when your question or your existence is put into question is an argument for why you exist. What I'm saying, there's examples such as hallucination, which you can be speaking to someone, you think you're speaking to someone, they can give language back and they can presuppose within that
That
language.
analogy does not work because it does not pertain to the context that you're talking about.
It was just an example. I don't know if I'm hallucinating, Tassi.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't pertain to the actual context, so it's not analogical. I explain how it's not
It would be
analogical.
analogical
You
because
want me to
we don't
explain
know
again?
whether or not. Hold on, it would be analogical because we don't know whether or not I'm actually hallucinating or I'm schizophrenic or anything along those lines.
Whether or not you're hallucinating is irrelevant, though.
It is relevant though because we don't know this thing. If we don't know this thing, then that's a good reason to be agnostic, which I'm doing currently, or that's a good reason to be skeptic, which I'm doing currently.
Yes or no? If you're gonna say I'm presupposing something, yes or no? Does that not entail the fact that there's an existence of mental faculties?
That doesn't presuppose or entail the fact that you exist or there's a mental faculty from you that
I
exists.
never said I presuppose that I exist. I'm talking about my mind.
I know. By you, I mean your mind. That's why I said I exist as a consciousness. I believe existence is the mind, Toxic. But anyways.
Okay, so how do you justify me presupposing something without mental faculties?
I already gave an argument for that, so we can conclude.
No, you didn't give an argument for that. What was the argument?
I gave an analogical
the only argument that you gave was an analogy that does not pertain to what I said.
Yeah, how do we know it doesn't pertain to the situation, Toxic? That's the problem at hand. I'm saying that we can't determine
whether or not we hallucinate is irrelevant.
Chill.
That's what I'm saying. Whether or not we hallucinate is literally irrelevant.
Toxic. What I'm putting into question is whether or not this thing is actualized, since there is an example of this being possible that I am hallucinating, and within this hallucination, there can be an existing person who's speaking to me, and they have presuppositions embedded within their language.
What is relevant though?
That doesn't entail that their mind exists because we know that the hallucination doesn't actually exist. That's what a hallucination is by definition. It's an illusionary factor that doesn't actually exist.
Okay, do you know why that's irrelevant though? You know why that's irrelevant?
Go ahead.
Okay, so whether or not we hallucinate literally does not pertain to presuppositions or mind-independent facts such as mental faculties.
Oh no,
like,
I understand.
Entailing the fact that the mind exists. Okay, yeah, so if you understand that, then I suppose that you're understanding the fact that this is not an analogical thing.
Oh no, just because I understand the claim you're making doesn't believe I understand why it's true or anything. So we can conclude, Toxic, you didn't give an adequate response to what I said.
Okay, sure, fine, we can conclude. Let's conclude.
Okay, sure. I'll send the recording to Sarugi. Kia, would you like to leave it off there?
Yeah, you can conclude.
Oh, I mean, by conclude, I was just talking about end the debate. I don't actually care to, summarize my arguments.
Oh yeah, by the way, Infinity, they're being like niggas talking tough. Like, who the fuck are these niggas, bro?
I don't know, bro. Pierre, I already beat Pierre. That nigga
maybe they should pull up in VC and talk to us. Pull them up, bro. Let's go.
Nah, that was a nice debate, by the way, Toss.
Who the fuck is
Uh,
Bob though? Like Bob, who the fuck are you,
It's some
nigga?
random shitty niggas who won't join VC.
Nigga saying Getty, he just made a Discord account right now. Pull up to VC.
Hey,
Like,
Pierre,
let's talk,
pull up
bro.
again and I'll bitch you again like I did last time since you don't know what the conceptual theory of knowledge is, you shitty ass nigga. Or are you going to keep
Oh
staying
man,
in
these
chat like
niggas
a
are
little
so
bitch?
ass, bro.
This nigga going to stay in chat like a bitch.
Nigga acting like they're the king in fucking text. They didn't
And
do
who
shit
is
in
Bob?
VC.
Who is Bob? Who is
Who
Bob?
is Bob, bro? That's what I'm saying. Who the
Who
fuck is
that?
Bob? Like, what the fuck?
Let this nigga up. Let me see what I have DMs with him.
Let him up. Let's see if he'll actually pull up.
This nigga will not pull up, and he won't speak either. This nigga's a bitch.
Nigga named Bob. That's a bitch name, bro. What the fuck?
God.
How do you wake up and name your son Bob? That's a shitty ass name, bro.
Yeah, the debate is overbound.
Nigga